Selection Sunday, 2 days away. We're going Maniac March mode on this YouTube channel. 2 days. Be here, subscribe, like.
Later, goat.
Have good mosh pitting!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what do we got? March 13th, Friday. 2 days away from Selection Sunday, enjoying what may be the greatest weekend of sports that we've had ever. Ever. Weather's getting warm. We got the Players' Championship going on for those who enjoy the game of golf. We got Selection Sunday, imminent conference championships going on right now. Tell you what, at the time of recording this, Florida and Kentucky just tipped off. Kentucky down 8-2 to Florida early out to a quick early. Florida out to an early lead. George Washington has St. Louis on the ropes with about 11 minutes left. The Atlantic 10 there. If St. Louis goes down, we might have a bid stealer out of that conference. Then that could boot maybe, a Miami, Ohio. Speaking of Miami, Ohio, they lose to Massachusetts, 87-83 to end their perfect season. It ended the perfect aspect of their season. It didn't end their season. I think if you go, 31-1 or whatever, just put them in the tournament, because what else is Miami, Ohio supposed to do? Obviously, in theory, you could say you got to go win your conference tournament. And that's fair because of the conference they play in. What are they? They're in the MAC. Some action going on. And I get that. But it's an undefeated team, right? And if the debate is against Auburn, don't even start. I mean, I'd rather you argue for several other teams to make it over Miami than Auburn, because Auburn, not even 500. And it's just, I don't think your argument should be with Auburn, but with Miami, Ohio. And the reason why I think if you're a fan who cares about the future of college sports and the future of college basketball, why it's so important to pay attention to what happens to Miami, Ohio here is because we see it in the college football playoff. And we're going to see it in the NCAA tournament this year, as we've seen with many other years. Whatever changes happen to these postseason formats, the catalyst of it is often the reaction of these bubble teams that get in or get left out, right? You had FSU a couple years ago getting left out of the football playoff as an undefeated ACC champion, and then we move right into a 12-team playoff. And that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in that regard, because why should you ever be leaving out a Florida State team like that? Even though I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And then this year, are you potentially going to leave out a 31-1 Miami, Ohio team from getting an at-large bid just because they didn't win their conference? Is that going to lead to a potential expansion of the NCAA tournament? Is this a catalyst for expansion from 64, which, by the way, is the greatest sporting event on earth, March Madness, the NCAA tournament? It's the best. Are you going to move it to, 72 or whatever? Like it would just, you have to really think about the implications of the future when you're going to let a Miami, Ohio in or leave them out. For whatever team you choose in favor of them, if you do leave them out, it's seriously important to the future of what potential changes we may have for the NCAA tournament. But just this year at face value alone, I think they should be in because they're an entertaining team to watch. All right, they score a lot of points, and even if you want to call a 31-1 team a Cinderella, I think they're capable of taking down, an SEC team that's maybe slotted in there at like a 7 seed or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see. I think the same thing about St. Louis. Obviously, St. Louis is 27-4 right now, playing out of the A10, the Atlantic 10. They were undefeated for a while, took a number of losses down the stretch here, and I believe their situation is they're going to have to win their conference tournament. Or are they an at-large? I think St. Louis might be in there as an at-large, but certainly if someone other than St. Louis wins the Atlantic 10, we will have a bid stealer that could ultimately boot Miami. So earlier in the year, we were all hoorah Miami, hoorah St. Louis because they were the last two undefeated teams, I believe, maybe along with Nebraska. And now those two teams may determine each other's fate. So how about that? All right. Um, let's talk a little Florida, Kentucky. Seeing as though it's tipped off, we're just coming out of the first media timeout right now. Florida's up 10-6. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Xavier Lee's got a quick five, made a three. Tommy Hawk 0 for 1 from three. Yeah. Otega Owe. Yeah. All right. It's 10-6. I mean, it's early in the game, but why is this Florida versus Kentucky game that I'm laying eyes on right now? Why is it important? Well, the final one seed here in the tournament is presumably down to Florida and UConn. I'm not sure anyone has a real, I mean, no one really has a shot at it. And none of the three teams, Michigan, Duke, Arizona, are going to fall out of the top three seeds. So it's Florida and UConn for the last one seed. Florida, do they have to win the SEC tournament to get there? Maybe not. Does UConn winning the Big East, which speaking of the Devil, yeah, they play, yeah, semifinal UConn, they're played by 14 and a half. Um, I think if Florida beats Kentucky for a third time, they probably go on to win the SEC. But I think if UConn wins today, they got, a St. John's, because I believe St. John's won, or Seton Hall, maybe. That was the game. I'm not entirely sure. Two teams that give UConn fits on occasion. I'm just gonna say that real quick. Um, but yeah, that final one seed slot is huge because it's the two line is like I like Iowa State and Illinois, but the back end of the twos and the three line super weak. I mean, I'm talking I might be picking a 14-3 upset in the first round. So you really, really want to be that one seed. One, so you can have the chaos happen on the opposite side of your bracket or on the opposite side of your region. Because I think the one seeds have a easier shot than ever to make the Final Four, especially when the odds of a two seed or three seed going down in your region is, higher than it's been in recent years, for my estimation. So Florida UConn for the final one seed going to come down to, potentially Florida Kentucky today. If Florida wins for a third time, it's going to be tough to leave Florida out of that one line. Florida's on the one line now. They have to lose the SEC tournament and UConn has to win the Big East for it to happen. But I think even if Florida loses in the SEC championship game, or maybe even in the semis, I think they might be good. Is that crazy to say? Is that biased? I'm not sure. Um, but we'll see. What I was going to say something else in regards to Kentucky. Oh yeah, third time Florida and Kentucky have played this year, and if you're Kentucky, I mean, God, are they even in the tournament? 21-12. They stink. Give me one moment to see if they're locked up for the tournament. Kentucky bracketology. I mean, they do have great wins, but 21-12 is not impressive in the slightest, let me tell you something. Um, yeah, if you're Kentucky and you can beat Florida today in game three of this season series, you have the feeling that you're like, okay, that is our ceiling. So we might be able to make a run here. Let's take down some good teams. But if you lose to Florida for a third time, you have entirely given up SEC supremacy. They have a title and an SEC regular season championship and potentially an SEC tournament championship, you have nothing to show for it. You're 21 and 13. You're merely an 8 seed. You're average. And you have to come to your senses and say the level of basketball that we are capable of playing, even playing well, not very high. So if you're Kentucky, this game today is huge just for the mental aspect of basketball. If you beat Florida, you know you're capable of going on a run. If you lose to Florida today, you just stink. So not only is it a win-lose, but it's mental warfare in the heads of Big Blue Nation. I tell you what. Um, it's going to be a short episode. World Baseball Classic. How about that for this weekend of sports, huh? Um, USA versus Canada is happening today, or no, I don't know. World Baseball Classic USA makes it to the quarterfinal rounds thanks to a little help from Italy. So thank you to the Italians. I mean, listen, what's better? Italy gave us an avenue to the quarterfinals in the 2026 World Baseball Classic, or them giving us, pizza and pasta and cannolis. It's definitely the pizza, pasta, and cannolis. But regardless of that, thanks Italy for getting us there. Um, USA, if they beat Canada, going to play the winner of Korea versus the Dominican Republic, which is Korea versus the DR, the D Republic, probably an elite baseball game. Probably an elite baseball game. Korea, maybe not as solid at baseball as Japan. Obviously, all those Japanese guys come over to play in the MLB. Handful of Koreans in the MLB too. But listen, two great baseball nations, and we love good baseball around here. Being Mr. Play-by-Play himself. Um, I'm gonna be honest, that's all I got. We're 2 days away from Have Good Sporting, an extravaganza of an episode going down Sunday night. Gonna try to get Ed on here. We're gonna fill out our brackets, maybe live, have some good banter, might go an hour plus. We're gonna break down all the games. So listen, I'm gonna put this at the start of the episode. Selection Sunday, 2 days away. We're going Maniac March mode on this YouTube channel. 2 days. Be here, subscribe, like, and don't go anywhere. Watch all our videos because we're going to be back with vengeance for March Madness. Thank you guys for watching. Love you. Bye.